Precognitive dreams are those that are self-fulfilling, literally dreams that come true. They are very fascinating, but also the most difficult dreams to distinguish from all other kinds of dreams, because most of them are like hindsight or 20/20. You don't know they are prophetic until after the event. They usually occur frequently in the early hours of the morning when the REM cycle is the longest. And they're also very clear. If you see a face or a place, you will remember them in detail the next morning. Sometimes an event, an object, or something in the dream may at first appear somewhat weird or bizarre, but it is only as we experience it comes that the event makes sense. Sometimes precognitive dreams may preview an event with such accuracy and intensity that you may feel that you are having an actual psychic experience. And sometimes they're so startling and vivid that you wake up during the night, and if it happens to be an uncomfortable dream, you fall back asleep thinking you've shaken it off, but lo and behold, you have the same dream again. This is how the subconscious brings your mind to this matter, and it is a sign that it is a precognitive dream or some event, some aspect of this event will occur in your waking life. When you have such a dream, pay attention to the lighting. This is of particular significance. If your dreams are brilliantly colored and very vivid, it is a sign that it is a superconscious state, the more evolved states of consciousness. Again, as with all dreams, make a note of your feelings. Are you happy, sad? Are you super joyous, anxious? Noting your feelings down about a dream helps you to interpret it. One of the ways you can distinguish a precognitive dream is when you have recurring dreams within a span of a day, a month, or a week. If the same person, object, or event appears in frequently recurring dreams, this is a sign that this is a precognitive dream. Often a soul that is passing on will appear like this in a dream to warn you of their departure from the physical plane. Though unpleasant and disturbing, this is how the subconscious mind prepares the conscious mind for an event that will take place later on. There have also been cases where the soul that is passing on will appear at the foot of the bed of the dreamer to bid their last farewell. This could also be a visitation, but we will discuss that in another segment. Yet another way a precognitive dream may present itself to you is when you see striking messages of an image. If you see an image or an object that seems strange or unfamiliar. To illustrate an example, I had a dream, this is a few years before I joined the field of acting, that I was walking along a broad street through several blocks, looking for a building and the entrance to that building. I did not find the entrance, but I saw a steel cage-like container, and I entered this container. That was the dream. Fast forward a few years. I got cast to play an inmate in the Netflix series Orange is the New Black. It was the very first day of the first season. I was walking along a broad street, looking for the studio and the entrance to the studio, which was not on the side I was walking on. I happened to notice what looked like an old freight elevator that was made entirely of steel even on the inside, and it opened up to the street. Someone opened up the shutter, and there was a man inside, and I asked him if it was the building I was looking for. He replied that it was, and he offered to give me a ride. So I stepped into this steel container, which took me to the other side of the building, which was also the official entrance of the building. So this is a precognitive dream in which the steel cage of my dreams turned out to be the elevator that I actually stepped into. Another way to recognize precognitive dreams is when you have frequently recurring dreams of the same person or event within a time span of a few weeks, if you have dreams within that time period. And to illustrate another example, I had 3 dreams within 2 weeks of a young woman that I know being pregnant. Interestingly, the dreams progressed with the story just as chapters in a novel. In the first dream, she was pregnant. In the second dream, I saw a baby girl with striking physical characteristics, which I noted down in my journal so I could validate it later. In the third dream, I saw a pink dress, baby dress, with pink booties. So I called this woman and asked her if she was pregnant. Not only did she deny it vehemently, but she revealed to me that at the time she was very focused on her career and she was not even thinking of having a baby. About a week later, I received a phone call from this woman who told me that she had a pregnancy test done after our conversation. And much to her shock, remember, she was not thinking of having the baby. She realized that she was indeed pregnant. And the rest of it is history as it goes. She went on to have the baby girl, and which baby girl doesn't have a pink dress or booties? So that was an example of a happy precognitive dream. To illustrate an unhappy or unpleasant precognitive dream, author Anne Rice revealed the sad story behind what inspired her to write the novel Interview with a Vampire. She had a dream that her young daughter was dying of a blood disease. Later on, the daughter was diagnosed with leukemia and passed away. In the mourning period following her death, Anne Rice wrote the novel very quickly within 3 weeks as a way of purging. This book was later made into a very successful film starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the story, the theme was about blood. Immensely important in recognizing a precognitive dream is noticing color. Color is of complete and vital importance to our lives. The color spectrum is an archetypal universal symbol for wholeness. The white light is diffused into color, and each shade has a particular meaning depending on its intensity and clarity. And each color has a context with the meaning or the place of the dream. Some people dream in black and white, but most of us dream in color. And color plays an important role in our health and well-being, in our endocrine system, in our chakras, in our psychology, emotional state, even moods. We often say things like, I'm feeling blue, or I'm turning green with envy, or I'm in the pink of health, etc. So when you have a dream where the color is constant, even though the objects or the places may change, pay attention to the color. It might indicate a place or an event where the color is the significant part. To illustrate another example, I had a dream within a few weeks that was together, dreams where the color green was featured constantly. Even though the size of the object in the dream changed dramatically as the dreams progressed, they ranged in size from a pair of shoes or a handbag to something that was huge and immense and very enormous thing, which looked like some kind of a mythical creature. As the dreams got to an end, the end of the green dream period, this mythical creature kept reappearing almost like a reminder. When I made a recall in my journal, I had no way to describe this colossal, gigantic creature that was stationary and had no definite shape. So I actually drew an image in my journal and colored it the same shade of green as I saw it. A few weeks after these dreams ended, I had an impromptu invitation to plan a vacation and take it in the Nilgiri Mountains where tea is grown. When I arrived there, I was stunned to see the meandering mountains that were going in all different directions where little tea plants were grown. So this mountain range was the exact shade of the green that was in my dreams. It is rare to find out a precognitive dream and recognize it immediately. It is almost like having cognizance in waking life. When you have a gut feeling and you know that something is definite and for sure that it's going to happen. A classic example of this is that of Calpurnia in Shakespeare's well-known play Julius Caesar, in which Calpurnia foresaw the death of her husband. California had a dream in which she saw the body of Caesar transformed into a statue from which poured not water but blood, and the Roman citizens were smiling and washing their hands in his blood. She begs her husband not to leave the house the next morning, but the ambitious man brushes her fears aside and is assassinated. The assassination of Abraham Lincoln was also foreseen in a dream by himself. This is a classic example and an extraordinary example of a precognitive dream where he not only foresaw his death but also the time of his death. But the ruler and statesman that he chose not to acknowledge this dream. 10 days before his assassination, Lincoln had a dream in which he saw his body in a coffin in his own house. Upon asking the people who it was, they said it was the president. Even though he publicly chose not to acknowledge this, he was extremely uneasy till the time of his death, and it proves that as a deeply psychic man, he recognized the significance of this dream. In a vivid dreamscape, he saw the very coffin that held his corpse. Sometimes precognitive dreams are very direct. They have direct messages. You don't always have to read between the lines or decipher the metaphors to know the meaning. This next example was told to me by a woman who saw in her dream a man with vivid blue eyes playing the guitar. She later on met this man and had a relationship with him. He was the man of her dreams. He had the vivid blue eyes and was playing the guitar just like she saw. Unfortunately, it was not a dream relationship. This is a classic example of a direct message where all she was told was that she would come across a man with blue eyes playing the guitar, which she did. Precognitive dreams are very difficult to recognize at first, and you may need a lot of practice. You may have several experiences before you can spot them, but once you do, they help you to prepare for what is to come. As the saying goes, forewarned is forearmed. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and if you did, please like and subscribe. Until next time, sweet dreams.